my channel started out really weird. Like my first video on my channel, my very first video is me playing the Puppet Master theme on my keyboard. And then I gradually started getting into making collection videos and showing my Blu-rays and stuff, but it took a while for me to actually get around to doing that kind of format. But
Hello, followers, and welcome back to FanZcene. And today, with me on the first episode of the Physical Media Club is Christian Hanna Horror, playing at CHH. It's this way.
uh,
It's always that when you're looking in these cameras, it always
I
gets
know
you
it's
messed up.
backwards.
Yeah. So thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Glad. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I dig your channel. I've been watching it a lot here lately. I just watched your video that you put out yesterday about possible Friday the 13th movie from Sean Cunningham. That was
Yeah.
pretty crazy. What do you make of all that?
I almost wonder if it is, I was thinking about this last night. I almost wonder if it's feelers that the people that are involved in editing that kind of stuff, or the people that work for Sean, or if Sean was like, let's do something really minute, something
Right.
like that on my cameo, just to see how much traction something like that would gain.
Yeah.
I wonder if that could be the case. Like, hey, let's just see just a tad bit of like some kind of change in something like that, or some kind of tiny notion in my cameo, how much traction and fan interest would that show? Which it
Yeah.
it certainly sparked a lot of craziness on the internet yesterday.
It
So, and
did,
I'm happy to
man.
contribute to that because I would love another Friday the 13th. So,
So would I. I mean, it's a great franchise, and I've actually spoken to Adam Marcus, who did Jason Goes to Hell. So yeah, he's curious on all that himself about how that's all going to play out with Sean and Victor and what's going to happen. So I'm curious. I definitely think maybe putting that in his little cameo thing was like tested to see how people react to it and see what's
mm,
going to happen. So yeah, I would love the new Friday the 13th. I think it's pretty cool.
mm.
And yeah, so I also noticed you do a lot of Halloween stuff about 10 crazy facts. I've been enjoying those. That's pretty interesting. How do you get into all that?
Um, the truth is, I usually don't go out of my way to make Halloween related videos, just because
Right.
there is a lot of it
There
on
is.
YouTube. But I got that book called Taking Shape,
Oh yeah, yeah. I've
and
seen that.
it all the stuff that I've learned is from that book. And I did an episode for the first movie, and there were a lot of people that said this was cool. I never heard this before. It's not like you're telling
Right.
me that the first mask was a Star Trek mask. Like, I didn't know about this or this. That was really cool. And I was like, well, this book covers each film up until a certain one. I'll keep reading it, and if it's stuff that I've never heard before, I'll do more. And every time I read the next chapter, I was learning, because I've watched all the documentaries. I've listened to
Yeah.
interviews, commentaries, and the book was like the actually getting stuff from like script notes, production notes, and stuff that like you just never really heard before. So that has been really fun. And I've got one last chapter. They actually covered Halloween 2018, and I'm gonna see if there's stuff in there that maybe wasn't in interviews or stuff, and maybe that was just stuff nobody's heard of. And if it's a good chapter, I'll do an episode on that too. So it just kind of happened by happenstance. I wasn't going out of my way to make those videos, but I enjoyed making them as much as everybody seems to enjoy watching them, and they're
They're
learning
fun.
stuff. So it's
Yeah, they're
really
fun.
cool.
I enjoy watching them. It wasn't too bad. I just was seeing the one on the Rob Zombie Part Two, which I know you're a fan of. I'm not really a big fan of H2, but I know you like it. So I mean, I give him credit because at least he got to do something he wanted to do for the sequel.
Mhm.
He got a little more control over that. So that's where Rob Zombie really excels, is when he's allowed to be his creative self, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, so what did you think of Halloween Kills? I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with it, so I was curious your thoughts on that.
Um, initially I was confused. I felt like we had a good movie, but the comedy stuff wasn't
Yeah,
really. it was jarring as hell. I've since gotten over it a little bit, and I just accepted it. And time heals wounds. And now I'm like, it's still fun. I guess I like it. I really like the flashback stuff.
Yeah, the flashbacks are, it's got some good stuff in it. It just some of it's just a little uneven for me, man. I agree with you on that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and I don't know. I guess it's fine now. I like it. The only thing I didn't like was I felt like I couldn't really hear the music that well in the movie.
yeah,
Like the first one before that, I'm not really a massive fan of 2018 either, but I thought the music cues in that one were really good.
yeah,
But the next one, I couldn't really find those moments in that film, which were important to me because the music's always been, in my opinion, the coolest thing about Halloween
oh,
is all
definitely.
the John Carpenter, or not even the John Carpenter, the Alan Howard stuff too. So
Yeah.
I felt we were lacking in that department a little bit.
Yeah. Now, I'll be honest, and I don't mind the score for Halloween 6, the like little like metalware version of the soundtrack. I didn't mind that. I thought that was pretty cool for Halloween 6. So
Sure.
yeah, yeah, the music is pretty good. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Um, so what do you think? Do you think we'll ever get a Freddy Krueger or Nightmare on Elm Street, I should say, box set down the line somewhere?
Well, I mean, I've talked about this on a number of occasions. I have people that have kind of kept me in the loop with this, and I've been told by X, Y, and Z behind the scenes that Scream Factory has been working on it.
Oh,
But
really?
there was a time where they were told to halt production, like they were working on special features, getting interviews with actors, etc. And then there was a time, maybe a year ago, where they were told to stop, and then a few months after that, they were told to resume, and I haven't heard anything since.
It's interesting.
So I
That's
don't know.
Yeah, I know somebody who talks to some people too, so he's been really curious himself because he wasn't really sure if they were going to do it or make it or not. So that's what I was curious about. I didn't know they had actually been working on at least some of it at some part. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping to get it, and it's pretty cool that we're getting Freddy's Nightmares at least on a German Blu-ray. I would like a U.S. release, but hey, I mean you can import.
I would anticipate. Again, I would anticipate a U.S. DVD release. Maybe not Blu-ray. I'd love to be wrong, but I
Yeah,
kind of think maybe not by December, like this German one's coming out, which I'll grab the German one because
yeah, me
I don't
too.
know if it's gonna be region free or not, but I'm sure it could be. I have a lot of German stuff that does actually play in region A, but even if not, I think a DVD release is going to come to America. If not December, sometime early next year. Don't quote me though, just gut
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of interest in it lately, and I'd be fine with the DVD if we get. I mean, I would love the blue, but I'll take the DVD. I'm not above that.
Hmm.
I'm a huge Freddy Krueger fan. Like, looking forward to it. And it was nice to be able to see this show again when it came on Screenbox and then now on Tubi. So it was nice
Yeah,
to see it again. Yeah, I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I dig Robert England. It was always cool to see him in the Crypt Keeper style way, the way he
right.
did the show. That was
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, he's
So
great.
yeah, I love it. I would love to meet him one day. Have you ever met him?
No, not met him. I've physically been in the same building with him, but man, I do not. I am not the kind of guy that wants to sit in line all day, and
I know
I just can't do it. Cannot do it.
the those cons. They're fun and everything, but sometimes those lines get too long, and you're just like, I don't know if I want to stay here that much longer.
That's
So
your whole
yeah,
day.
yeah,
That's your
it's
whole
so
day.
cute.
I'm not
Yeah,
about it. I've got I have his autograph. I have a couple of autographs from him, and that's fine. I don't need to meet him. I don't need to meet
yeah,
him.
yeah. That's fine. I mean, we can enjoy him through his work that he's done. um, Speaking of like releases, is there any upcoming physical media releases that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The first thing I just found out today that Grindhouse is doing a 4K of Lucio Fulci's The Beyond, which I'm
Oh, really?
really excited about. That's coming from Grindhouse. Um,
That's
you a fan?
I've not. I've only seen very few, like our Dario Argento and Lucio Fulci films. I've seen Demons, which I know everybody's probably seen Demons,
Right.
but yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot. That's something I've been meaning to get into a lot because I have a friend. We do the physical media show that comes on every once in a while. His name's Mike, and he's like, he has all of them. He has all that,
Dude,
and he's always trying to tell me about him and this. I'm like, I need to get in on these. It's really bad because I've always heard that Italian horror and stuff is really great. It's like a
it
really
is.
great style film, and I enjoy demons, and so I was like, yeah, I could get into stuff like this.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Demons is like a really good bridge gapper because it's very Americana.
yeah,
Uh, so that's like a film that whenever people ask me about Italian, what should you start with? I usually say Demons. It's just a really good transitional film to get into Italian, but it doesn't necessarily represent that genre in the best in the truest way because it does try to feel American. But
yeah.
the
That's what
Beyond
I've
just got
heard.
announced today, so I'm super excited about that. Um, I did pre-order the Halloween, whatever it is, 6 through 8.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I'm excited about that. That'll be fun.
yeah.
Um, Fright Night is getting 4K.
Yes, I'm waiting on that one myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming out. I think it's coming out in October. I never bought the 4K for this, and then they announced this cool steelbook of the poster art coming out for it. Is Bram Stoker's Dracula
Oh yeah,
92.
yeah. And
Love
it's
that
got new
movie.
special features on that one too. That wasn't on the last one.
Well, good. I didn't know that. Perfect. I
Yeah,
love,
yeah.
love, love. I'm in love with that movie so much.
It's a great movie. I remember seeing it the first time, and I didn't quite get it the first time, and I was probably too young. And then when I went back for the rewatch, I was like, "Oh, okay, I get
You
it."
know,
I've really fell in love with the movie throughout the
yeah.
years, and I don't care what people say about Keanu's accent and stuff. It's just it's just a good movie. I enjoy it, and Gary
It's a good
Oldman
movie.
is
Oh,
just
Gary Oldman's great.
a force in that movie.
Lost Boys, even though that artwork is just
Yeah, it's
garbage. God
horrible.
almighty.
And the Poltergeist one too. The artwork on that is
I need to grab that though, because I actually really love Poltergeist. I
mhm.
still feel that part two is probably the scariest and one of the best from that decade, quite frankly. But I do love Poltergeist. I'm always taken aback that it does get really good. It is
Yeah,
a horror film. It really is
yeah.
once it gets going. I always forget that, but you know, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm sure there is. I've got Crimes for the Future, that new David
Oh
Cronenberg
yeah, the
movie
Dave Cronenberg one.
that's coming to my house in a couple days. I ordered the Blu-ray. I wasn't able to see it in theaters because I don't live in a. If you didn't live in like fucking I don't know Los Angeles or New York, it was hard to see it in theaters. But
Exactly. Yeah.
I've never seen a David Cronenberg movie that I thought was just bad. Weird, yes. Like I don't know if you've seen a
Yeah.
movie called Crash. Jesus
I know
Christ.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it, but
Holy
I've never
shit.
seen it.
Good God Almighty. But no, I've never seen a bad David Cronenberg movie. I think he's one of the greatest directors ever. So
Yeah,
I'm
he's great.
super excited to see a new David Cronenberg film. And obviously, I think I'll be picking up Return of the Living Dead on
Oh,
4K.
definitely. That's one I've been excited for because I missed out on the Scream Factory Blu-ray release. I have like the studio release. So when they announced
Uh
the
huh.
4K, I was like, I'm definitely upgrading to the 4K because I love that freaking movie. That movie is
Me too.
badass.
Yeah, me
Such
too.
yeah, the soundtrack, the style, everything, man. It was I'm super excited for that 4K. I cannot wait to see the transfer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think they're actually including a work print of that movie too, with a little
I
bit of
think it was
extra
on
footage.
yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
There's probably more, but yeah, I'd have
Yeah.
to dig through my Amazon account and see what's in
Yeah.
my
There's still
oh,
yeah.
Paranormal Activity box set.
Oh
I'm
yeah, I heard
so
that was
getting that.
coming.
I'm a diehard Paranormal Activity fan.
I haven't really seen all of them. I've seen like the first one is about all I've seen, so I can't speak too much on them, but they're not bad. I
I
mean,
love that first movie so much. I was a guy with a couple grand and a dream.
yep.
That's
And
what
he
makes that
succeeded
movie
big
so
time too.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's pretty cool. I mean, I cover a lot of the physical media stuff here on my channel, and I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to a lot of those, and I'm super excited. Oh, the Fog. I want to get the Fog. I've been looking forward to that one on the 4K coming from Scream Factory. I
Yeah,
love John
it's interesting.
Carpenter.
It's interesting. I've already got like all those John Carpenter titles. I've been having those on 4K.
Yeah,
Like I've been telling people, you don't have to wait for Scream Factory. Just go get that John
yeah,
Carpenter Studio Canal set. Like I've
yep.
got that. It's already got the fog on it. So like I've been having the fog, and people are like, I can't wait for the fog to come out in 4K. Like what are you talking about? It's been out
Yeah,
on 4K.
I
You
do.
know?
Oftentimes, I do forget about that, but yeah, I do. I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know. I mean, I think we sometimes we become so complacent in like Scream Factory, Shout Factory stuff that we tend to forget. Like you said, there's like Studio Canal and them tend to release a lot of movies and stuff that you can actually ship here, and they're a lot of time they're region free and stuff, so you don't
Yeah,
have to
well,
worry.
if you cover physical media, I'm sure you know 4K is a region-free
Yeah,
format.
4K is region free
So
format. Yep.
it's like it's a no-brainer to, and I mean, a lot of times I think Studio Canal, like Scream Factory, uses the Studio Canal
They
masters anyway.
do.
So it's like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah,
You know, go ahead,
exactly.
go get the Studio Canal ones.
Yeah, yeah. I think
So
about the most that Scream might do is they might change do some audio stuff, but mostly it's just the
yeah,
same stuff.
right,
So yeah, yeah, I agree with you, man. You don't always have to buy and wait for the titles to come out on over here. You can get them over there. They're just
right.
as good. Um, yeah. So I just gotta say, I've just been really digging your channel. And how did you get? Here's a good question. I'm sure you've answered this a million times. What led you down the path to horror films and to your channel?
Horror, it's kind of like it's like a two versions. Like when I was a really little kid, my grandma was a diehard, still is, loves Stephen King. So I remember we would watch it all the time. I remember we bought the VHS tape, the double box VHS thing, when I was just old enough to understand I was a human being and I was alive. And I remember that, and we would watch that, and I became obsessed with that movie. Then we watched Child's Play and The Fly and stuff like that. So I had an appreciation for horror as a little kid, but I wasn't like a horror fan.
Yeah,
But the way I got into horror, like, which is interesting, when I've talked to a lot of people that I do videos with or talk to, a lot of them became horror fans when they were kids. That wasn't me. I was a normal kid. I was into whatever was kind of popular and whatever the world was going with the world. Like, yeah, that, like when I was a kid, 98 through 2003, like, what was the biggest thing in the world during that time? It was wrestling. So, like, yeah, I
yeah,
was a big wrestling fan at the time. I also was into basketball and baseball, and I was, I would go to the movies and see whatever's coming out at the time. And, you know, and then when was in high school, my brother took me to Spirit Halloween, and I'd been there a number of times before, but something about this one trip, everything just kind of clicked. We went to Spirit Halloween one day in like 2008 or 9, and I was in the store and I was just looking around at everything, and I was like, man, I don't know that I've ever really watched all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies or all the Friday the 13th movies, because this is when Spirit was awesome and they had all these
yeah.
really cool big animatronics. Some of them I own, but so I remember that day we got home, and I told my mom, I said, Mom, my mom used to work really close to a Blockbuster, which I miss.
Me
But
too.
I said, Mom, can you rent a Nightmare on Elm Street for me? I want to watch those movies. And she said, "Yeah, no problem." Well, she came home and she had Freddy's Revenge. She said, "I'm sorry, somebody was renting part one, but I got you part two. I hope you don't mind." I said, "I don't care." So I watched Freddy's Revenge that night, and I was just mesmerized by that movie. It's one of my favorite
Yeah.
movies ever. And I was like, I don't know, I'm in love. Whatever this is, I'm just absolutely in love with it. So after that, I started renting all the Nightmare on Elm Streets from Blockbuster. Then I rented all the Friday the 13th. Just I was pounding them out. I got that card where you pay like $20,
Oh yeah, I
$25 a
remember
month,
that.
and you just
Yeah.
rent, you come and go as you please. And I was pounding through. I pounded through like three Friday the 13th in a day once, and like I just would watch one in the morning. I remember we had like a week off for school or something, or a couple days. It was some kind of holiday, like in October, or I don't remember what it was. We had a couple days off during the week, and I remember like on a Monday, I'd woke up at like 9. I pounded out part one, went back, got lunch, came home with part two, around 4 o'clock, went back out, got more Taco Bell, then pounded out part three. Like, it was just so fun watching them all. And then after that, I started buying them. My love for physical media and horror basically started together, because
Yeah,
I wanted to be, I loved them so much. I was like, I want to have these movies. Like, I think I'm going to want to watch these again.
right.
So it all kind
Same
of
here.
spiraled from there.
Yeah, that's why I talk about that a lot about going to the video store, and that's like that between going to the video store and renting horror movies, especially with my older brother who was a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan, with, and he's one of, that's why like Freddy is my number one. You want to be close to your big brother, you want to do what he does, you want to follow him. So I like,
Right.
I got into the Freddys and all that from them, and then like renting movies with just like stacks and stacks of horror movies and stuff, and then of
Mm.
course Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs. I used to watch that on the weekends all the time. So I just kind of fell through it from there. And I just, my love for horror movies in general and physical media, the video store, just all spurns from that. I mean, it just always leads you down the path that you're supposed to be on, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm stuck with it now, man. There's no turning back.
Yeah. And so
I've
what
gone
led
this
you?
far.
Yeah. So after that, how did you get into the channel?
So the channel, I started just using YouTube on a regular basis when I noticed that a lot of it wasn't the red case special edition DVDs for Friday the 13th, but it was the Crystal Lake Memory set, the
Oh, that's,
older one that
yeah.
had those making ofs were on YouTube. So like I was using YouTube all the time to watch those because I didn't have that set yet. I had the red DVDs because that's what was
Yeah.
out at the time. This was 2009 or 10 when I was buying the movies. And I remember after watching all those, one time this video got recommended to me called My Friday the 13th Collection, and it was Pizzow.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched his video, and I was like, this guy's just, I relate to this guy. He's just a normal guy that's a big fan. And
Yeah.
I started watching more videos from him. And I was like, I like what he's doing. I think I wouldn't mind trying that. My channel started out really weird. Like my first video on my channel, my very first video is me playing the Puppet Master theme on my keyboard. And then I gradually started getting into making collection videos and showing my Blu-rays and stuff, but it took a while for me to actually get around to doing that kind of format. But
Yeah.
no doubt Pizzal was the first YouTuber I think I ever subscribed to.
He's a
So
great channel. I would love to
at
talk to
least
him one
horror.
day. Yeah, I would. That's why I said like I'm in all types of things, and horror is one of my loves. And that's how I found you. I found you, Pizzle, and everybody through that way. And it's just and that, and then like Serial at Midnight and Films at Homes and stuff like that. I'm like into all that. I just like I watch you guys constantly, and so many other people, and that's what sort of got me into my channel. I was like, I want to do something like that, and then like well, the way I started was I tried to do like the hot stuff, and then I was like, yeah, that's not really me. And then I kind of got into with the In Search of Darkness people. I kind of got connected with them, and I was like, yeah, this is stuff I want to do, like 80 stuff and physical media. I kind of with the retro type of vibe and horror vibe, sci-fi vibe and stuff. So that's how I sort of got into myself, and then I get to meet people like you guys that actually watch and enjoy. I'm like, hey, I'm in a conversation with Planet CHH. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
You brought up the In Search of people. One of my friends sent me the In Search of Tomorrow documentary, and oh my
mhm.
god, it's so good. Like there's so
It
many
is,
titles
man.
there's so many titles that I am excited to watch, especially during the early, like to me the sci-fi era seems a lot cooler in the earlier part of the 80s than the latter.
Yeah,
Was more ambitious and the stuff like the sets were cooler and everything still had this kind of dangerous vibe as opposed to the latter part of the 80s. I mean, there's still stuff I got to finish it, but like 80 to 83 seems freaking amazing in the
it
sci-fi genre.
is. It's great stuff,
So,
man. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Because it was when I saw that. I mean, like I've gotten to know them, and I've got to talk to some of them, and yeah, so it was really great to be able because I got to see it before it was released, and it was just amazing to see that documentary. So it was cool, and yeah,
mhm.
they do really great stuff. And if you're a fan of like their horror documentaries, keep an eye out here on my channel. I might have some stuff for you guys soon.
Cool.
So
Good.
yeah, yeah, but
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
looking at
I
part 3. I know that's coming out. That
yeah,
they're
that's
doing another
part three, the
cool.
final journey into 80s horror. So I'm looking forward to that. And like I said, I might have some stuff for people who watch my channel soon.
Good,
I can't say too much.
good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed this conversation, and I'm glad you're here. And if there's anything else you want to say before we close it out, say it. Go ahead, promote your channel. I know you just started with your wife that where you sell stuff. I can't think of the name of it. You want to talk about that? The Unita stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Unita candles. Yeah, as a matter of fact, this video won't be out, but this video ain't coming up the day we're recording it. But today,
Yeah.
actually, we're dropping our Friday the 13th line, and I'm super excited about it. But basically, long story short, my wife got me into wax melts instead of just using candles because I'm notorious for leaving the house with candles on, which is obviously super dangerous.
Yeah.
And my wife's got a wax melter, which are very popular nowadays.
Yeah.
And she goes, Christian, you buy these wax pieces in a package. You break a piece off and you put it in your wax melter, and it'll melt, and then the smell permeates the room. And if you leave the house, it's a wax melting device. It's light bulb operated, so you don't have to worry about something catching on fire and leaving. You leave something on and not worry about it. So after we got into that, my wife kind of got this, I don't know what it was, some kind of desire to learn how to make wax and basically make candles. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so she got into that. And then we talked about starting a business and doing it because we were like, wouldn't it be cool if we made like a horror themed product? And we're not obviously the only ones that do it by any stretch, but we felt that there was a lack of like a specific kind of product involving movies and specific movies. And I was like, I just think we could do that. We could do that and do it good. And so we tried it and we didn't have much success, not selling anything, but just like creating a product. But we learned a lot. And then about 4 months ago, we were like, let's actually do this for real. Let's legitimately do it for real this time. Get the stuff, experiment, go through all the trial and error, spend the money, figure it out, and let's put out a good product. And we launched about a week or so ago, and it was amazing. I mean, we sold out in a day, just all of our stuff gone. Then 2 days later, we restocked some of the stuff that we restocked some of our stuff again, gone. Everything was just gone. And then a few days after that, we did one more of we did a trick or treat scent called "Always Check Your Candy."
Oh yeah.
And people
It's a
were
great
telling us
movie.
how good it was, and yeah, sold out again. I mean, just gone.
Nice.
So today's our Friday the 13th line. We've got Jason X, we got Uber Jason. We've got the final chapter, which is toasted marshmallow.
That's cool.
We've got Jason Goes to Hell, which smells like campfire. And then we've got a New Beginning, which smells like fresh linen. And people, and for the people that don't know if people don't know the reason I went with fresh linen for part 5, it's because if you remember in part 5 where Debbie Sue Voorhees is doing laundry, she's hanging clothes up outside on a and then she gets ready to go have sex. That's why I went with fresh linen. So
that's
the reason I didn't just pick that reason scent for no reason. I tried to tie the stuff into the movie.
Yeah. I knew where you was going when she said it because I seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. And I will put a link to that you need candles and your channel in the description down below, so everybody go check them out and see if you see something you want, and subscribe to Planet CHH. Thank you once again for being here. This was a great conversation. I had a fun time, and anytime you want to come back, I'd love to have you come back.
Sounds great. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So please subscribe to him, check out his channel, subscribe here, hit that like button, join, all that good stuff, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.